from the Drunken Under Quarantine Show, presented to you by the Woolen Comedy Club. Here to remind you this is a very adult show featuring very adult subjects and very adult topics. If you're ready for a very adult evening, please get ready for the Drunken Under Quarantine Show Season 3. Remember, stay safe, stay drunk, stay underwhelming.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm, of course, Hickory, the Drunken Underwhelming. Welcome to the Drunken Under Quarantine Show, Season 3, Episode 11. G-Dubs and I are here. We'll see if Island Boy joins us shortly. We got a lot to get into tonight, so without further ado, we're going to the main show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It's Season 3, Episode 11 of the Drunken Under Quarantine Show with GW Foley and I, Hickory, the Drunken Underwhelming. It's going to be a good night. We got a lot to get into. We're going to talk about the new name for Suicide 6. We're going to talk about a dad who got fined for visiting McDonald's twice. We're going to talk about Jill Biden and her poor choice of metaphor. T.R. Mack, a Rhode Island congresswoman. We're going to talk about people with the capacity for pregnancy. We're going to talk about the nuclear preparedness PSA. And finally, we're going to talk about the latest Biden gaffe because we can't not mention those. They're too funny. Anyways, so without further ado, welcoming to our spotlight stage, my man, my boy, my comrade. Please give a warm welcome, Mr. G.W. Foley.
What it do, motherfuckers? What it do? It is Wednesday night, motherfuckers.
Woo!
Yes. I got the alert on my phone. Bam. Right there. 8:03. Just like clockwork. Yeah. So, had to play a fun game the other night when I was outside having a cigarette. That game is called, was that gunshot or firework?
Love that game.
The first couple sounded like gunshots. Not gonna lie. Then the other ones were in quick order. So I'm like, oh no, those are fireworks. Okay, that's good. Because I like to keep the crime on the other side of the city, not my side. There's a line that I don't like it to cross. My city is going through some growing pains right now. There's a lot of crime. There's a lot of drug use.
Yep. And
there's a lot of, activity that goes along with the drug use. And I'm not feeling it. I want to move out to the sticks. So when the meth labs explode, it's in the woods, No need to bring in poor people's apartments into this. That just saying. Been watching a lot of Breaking Bad lately, and made me think that I wouldn't do so well with cancer. Like Walter White. The whole point of the story is Walter White breaks bad, where he decides to start cooking meth to make money for his family because he's dying of cancer. I couldn't be that ingenuitive. I don't know what I would do, but I wouldn't be able to cook meth. I wouldn't know where the first place to start with. Where do you find recipes for meth? if you just go online, type out in Google like how to cook meth. I don't know. Like how to wash checks. I can do that. I can tell you how to do that easily. That's no problem. I've washed a couple. You know, not. By the way, I say that it was for educational purposes only, not not that I actually did it and put the checks back into the system. Just saying, legally speaking, that's a funny thing about crime is anyone can do it if they want. You know, like screw morals or convictions. You can do it. You can do it. This is a pep talk. You can completely break the law and not get caught. The only thing you have to do is not be stupid. And that's the problem. There's too many stupid people doing crimes and are getting caught. Just like crimes happen, like especially white collar crimes, they happen all day long.
Yep. And
people are smart about it. That's why they're not getting caught. And it's easy to do. It's easy to do. Just saying. It doesn't take rocket science. Just a little bit of math, some clever typing, maybe some acetate. Yeah. That's the one thing I do miss about like living in this 21st century. Like no one's doing checks anymore.
Nope.
So you can't go to mailboxes and steal people's checks. They just saying. Not that I've done that.
Western Union fraud's probably out of vogue as well. No, it's Venmo
Depends
now,
on
baby.
the type. There is quite a bit of Western Union fraud. Well, and see, Western Union fraud, if you're the fraudster, is good for you. Because once it hits its final destination, they can't return it. So, like, once you pick up the money, like, that person who sent you the money is out. Like, they're screwed. But it's good for the fraudster. I don't get the idea of, like, people buying gift cards. Like, have you seen this scam where...
Yeah, it's popular. I see it a lot in the. I watch some scammer videos. The guys are really good at computer stuff. Have a fake computer, and they go in and just mess with those dudes and just waste their time for entertainment value. And because it's really helping people. The more of a scammer's time you can take up while not putting yourself in any sort of risk, the better off it is for society because that's less time that scammer is on the phone with this 75-year-old woman.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
I like to talk to those people.
Yeah. And here's the fun thing that people don't think about. Do you know why the like scam letters are purposely misspelled?
I would assume it's some type of defense in court if it goes there.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's because if you're too stupid to notice it, you're dumb enough to fall for the scam.
Oh, okay. Yep,
like,
that makes good.
If you got a letter from a bank and grammar was completely off,
punctuation is all fucked up.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Yep.
But if you get something on an official looking letterhead and you're stupid, that's the other thing. The IRS will never call you.
No.
Never.
No.
Like I in my past life, I had to work closely with the IRS, and do you know how hard it was to get them to call me? It was super hard, And if you're being audited, there's no way in hell they're gonna send you a letter. So there's paper documents saying, "Oh, hey, you're being audited."
Yep.
They will never call you, and they're not going to ask for gift cards. And that brings me to my point of what are the scammers doing with the gift cards? It's not like they're money gift cards. Like, are they like getting shit and reselling it? Like that, I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyways, Collen's here.
Hey!
Let's pass it over to him. See how his week's been.
Nope. There we go.
Gentlemen,
What to do?
the week has been going well. Vermont Comedy Festival is officially open.
Woo!
Live. Available for submissions. That's been exciting. I love how Vermonters have this way of like asking you like if you're doing something, if you like have to move a piece of equipment, or like a boat or like something. They'll ask you questions if you have something to like get said project done, only to follow it if you don't have it by like do you have a strap? Be like, no, I don't have a strap. Be like, all right. Okay. Well, I do. You'd be like, well, you do. Like, why'd you ask me that? You know? Be like, pull, you're like off the road in the snow, and they'll like show up and be like, you got a chain? Get pulled out of there? Like, no, I don't. Like, okay. Well, I do. Like, why did you ask? Like, I think it's funny that a lot of people seem to not want to admit that they were afraid to be called on in class, like answer the questions. Or like, I'm not the only person who could have been like dreading their turn to read out loud, you know? But like somehow like all these people are always like so quiet about it. Like, I love to read, you know? And like these same people like always made fun of me for not being able to read, you know? And like I feel like a pretty good excuse for not having great reading comprehension. It's that I'm dyslexic. But people don't look at that as like, you know, it's like, oh, you spelled that wrong, you idiot. Ugh. He can't spell. He can't spell. And I like want to look at this girl like in the fifth grade and be like, yeah, you can't run the mile in under 10 minutes, you know? But yeah, hyperactivity has its benefits. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can't read and you can't run. Okay? Is there anything else we need to clarify? You can't say that. That's mean.
But true.
But true. For some reason, it was never like the star football player who was like, I can also read good. You know what I mean? That never happened. Yeah, I mean, and it's like, you know, having dyslexia is not that bad, really, I guess. But it's like only occasionally it's challenging where it's like, you know, you'll run like those computer tests for websites, you know, that'll be like, we need to verify that you're not a robot. Please type this random scrambled set of numbers and letters exactly as you see them. And just kind of sit there dyslexic, like, type in these scrambled numbers and letters exactly as I see them. Okay, we're going to be a little while. It's interesting. We talked about it a couple of weeks on the show, the Suicide 6 changing its name.
Yep, we're bringing that up.
We brought that up. We talked about it a couple episodes ago. And I've just been thinking about it recently because I went on their website and I looked. And they said, you know, they have this official statement saying they're going to change the name. They don't know to what. But they felt that the name was insensitive over the course of the years. And the truth is, for years, we just called that place Suicide.
Yeah.
We didn't really use the name 6. We were just saying, you know, we're going to Suicide, you know? And you would have people in the area saying things like So I can't wait for this weekend. We're going to take all the kids and go head to suicide. You know, like that's how we grew up. We said we're taking the kids to suicide. We're going to have a great, wonderful weekend with the family at suicide. This was just it. You know, we never thought it was odd, strange, you know. How was suicide? No. It was great. It was great. We had a wonderful time at suicide.
No, it's more weird when people say Pico, talking about Pico, than it is to hear somebody just refer to it as suicide. Like,
you know, does anyone know where Killington came from?
I don't know, but I know there's people that have been advocating for it to change to Livington. I mean, it's not a big group of people, but there have been like online petitions, and people have brought it up before. Because Killington is negative.
Yeah, I mean, it's so negative, you know.
I think they named it after my alter ego, Kyle Hickory. It's Kylington. But that didn't. They didn't want KY in there because it's too looby.
That's amazing. We're just going to change the name to KY.
It's the slipperiest mountain you've ever been on, boys.
We're just going to all call it Kitty. We're going to Kitty. Yeah. I feel like when you're a kid and you struggle with reading, you end up saying stuff like, did you know Manhattan was originally called Manhattan? Like, that's me. It's just, that's me. It's like, Collen, can you read? Like, no, but did you know the Pennsylvania Trail Station connected New York to New Jersey in 1984? You know that? I feel like that's like a Jim Gaffigan joke. Like I can hear Gaffigan being like doing all my comedy way better than me. Can you imagine that?
There are so many people in the world that can do my comedy better than me, so you're not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all broken up into chunks. It's not like any one of the greats would handle all of your material well, GW. It's all like, oh, this would be great if Rogan handled it. This would be great if Chappelle handled it. This would be great if a Gaffigan handled it. Fuck, the amazing Jonathan did this one. That would be pretty good.
GW's just critiquing him from the back of the theater. Like, I'm sorry, when you go to talk about wiping your asshole, I'd like to see the finger out a little bit more. It doesn't like...
Give a little
middle finger up a little bit. There you go. There it is. Other than that, I'm happy with it. Funny, a friend of mine was trying to tell me that someone was talking poorly about me. And I said, oh, that's terrible. Someone's had something bad to say about me. And she said, yeah. She goes, and that hurts me, Collen. It bothers me when people say mean things about you. And I said, well, that makes one of us. There's only one person in this situation who apparently gives a fuck, and
it's you.
Not me. I don't know. Maybe that's a T-shirt or something. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's pretty much my week. Excited for this weekend. Got a great show. Chris Gregg's coming in from New York. So, yeah. Last weekend was a lot of fun. And all things are pretty much good in the hood. Got the obvious. Yeah. So. Without further ado, I'd like to take this over to the reason we get together every week. Ladies and gentlemen, your host, Hickory the Drunk and Underwhelming.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being here.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know. It came to me, and
it's his new endorsement deal he's got. He's got
a. I'm working on my thumbnails. I don't know. I've been trying too hard.
Well,
Yeah,
for a
no.
thumbnail, you should get all three of us doing it at the same time.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah, we should. There's things we should work out. It's been a decent week up here. I don't have a whole lot to report other than Sean's service is on Saturday at 11. So I'll be attending that. And we talked about that last week. Colin, did you know about that situation
What's that?
with Sean Powell passing?
Yeah, I am aware
Okay.
of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know because you joined a little late last week, and I talked mostly about that in the beginning, and then I played one of his songs as a little tribute piece. And
Oh, I didn't know
so,
that.
so I just wanted to make sure that you were in on that.
Yeah. I mean,
Because it's a small. Let's be honest, Bridgewater's a small town,
yeah, he's actually my cousin.
and he's a very big piece of the small town.
Yeah. You know, the thing that I would say too is like, you know, as someone, you know, grew up in the area, like I look at too, like with him and Silas and Kennedy and Pryor and all these guys. I mean, it was just such a brotherhood and such a unique creative brotherhood that's like it's hard to really explain. I mean, it was just such a unique period in time, like when we were growing up, and like these guys, and like the world has changed, I guess, a lot since maybe that's kind of where some of it almost felt so old world. You know what I mean? Just certain the fact of just really just like, you know, living simply, being able to live simply, and just being able to enjoy like the simple things in life and stuff like that. And last time I saw Sean, like really got a chance to like chat with him was a couple weeks ago. He lent a couple mics for the club, and which are still down there. And you know, I sat down in the river with him and hung out and like chatted, and he just like had such a heart of gold, and he was just so influential on so many people, and just was such kind of just like a soft, you know, like just kind of a just guided with a soft touch though, you know, which was, you know, amazing, and just obviously so sudden, and no one saw this coming. So I think that that's like a really hard thing, where it's like, and other people we've lost in the community, like, you know, some of them we've been able to kind of prepare a little bit more for, even though it doesn't make it any easier. It's you're not dealing with like the shock of everything.
Yeah,
So
that was a hard shock.
yeah, man. So we love you, Sean, and you know, thank you for everything.
Yeah, for an amazing repertoire of music and all the people that I met. I never would have had like some of the craziest experiences. Like I think I shared a story last week, but I'll share it with you again, Colin. We were at Birdfest, so I was an active member of the Clear River Band for like 5 years, and I was playing bass for them. And my best friend Jake Preto was dabbling on a little lead guitar once in a while, and he'd come fill in. And we were also doing our punk project at the time, but we went up to Birdfest. Did you ever been to Birdfest, Colin?
No.
So Birdfest is it was a little show put together on private property. It was a private party. Basically, it started as a small party, and it grew into a big thing that turned into like a multi-day festival with bands from all over the place, and it became like noteworthy. But the Clear River Band was associated with it, and we went up and we played one night, and we might have done a little bit of Molly. Some powder in a bag, just, you know, a little dip a thumb or a little finger in it and eat some, and all was good, you know. And so my buddy Jake is there, and before Sean just offers him some, and he's like, yeah, I'll do that, whatever. And we had a great show. Fucking, you know, everybody was having a great time. Vibes were awesome the entire night. I'm sure the Molly had nothing to do with that. It was my amazing bass playing. But amazing, you know, we did 2 awesome sets, and in the middle, Rob, Jake, and I did a couple Uncle Dad tunes, and everything was going phenomenal. And so, like, 3 days later, we're at work, Jake's going around and being like, yeah, I did Molly at this party, and we played this awesome show. Until somebody finally had to like pull him aside, and I wasn't working with him at the time. I heard this from him. Until somebody finally pulled him aside and was like, Jake, you know that Molly's like a drug, right? And it's illegal. And you probably shouldn't be like so happy when you go talk to people and explain to them that you did this at a concert. And yeah, it was one of those moments where I'm like, I will never forget that experience. Not only was it one of the best, most fun shows I've ever played in my life, my best friend had no goddamn idea that he was taking illegal drugs. Totally did. And had a fucking awesome time. So I'm not saying that drugs are good, but sometimes in the right scenario with the right people, with the right amount of comfort and safety and love. You know, you kind of need all those things to make drugs work, and if you don't, you end up with situations like Grotland's going on. Yeah, sorry to hear that. CG Dubs, I wanted to comment back on you saying that earlier when you guys play gunshots or fireworks. See, when we do it in my neighborhood, it's like a fun guessing game. Because you're never sure in the backwoods out here. Like, it's a 50-50 shot. Lately, it's been more fireworks because it was the 4th of July and, you know, people were doing that. But on like a normal weekend night out here in the middle of nowhere, it's a 50-50. You know, it could be somebody shooting a raccoon in their backyard or somebody, you know, just shooting a couple rounds out of at the berm behind their house for fun at night. Or, you know, it could be somebody lighting off, not usually firecrackers, because it's pretty damn easy to tell when it's just firecrackers. But when they get some of the mortars, the sky flowers going up, those sound remarkably like a muzzleloader. I think partly because of the black powder, maybe. I think fireworks use something similar to black powder, and they sound remarkably similar. If you hear a muzzleloader fire next to a mortar shell going up for fireworks, they sound pretty similar in the distance. And all I know is the cat hates both, which is unfortunate because I used to love firing off fireworks and shit at my house. But now I can't and somebody made fun of me the other day, like, "Oh, you can't because the wife will be mad at you." And I'm like, "No, because I love my cat. Like, I don't I don't care what the wife thinks. Like, as little trauma as I can inflict on this poor fur beast that's in my care, the best. Because to be honest, you know, we do a lot of shit that scares the hell out of her, and like every once in a while, we set off the fire alarms in the house while we're cooking. Because it turns out home, what do they call it, residential cooking hoods aren't very good.
No,
they don't perform nearly, which seems like a fucking travesty at the point in 2022 where somebody could have just downscaled and made it trendy to have a small commercial hood. I mean, like, you could have a little 3-panel hood. It would be great. It would do the exact same thing. It'd be washable, but it would pull a hell of a whole lot more air. Especially during the summer, or times in the spring and fall where I'm not using AC or heat. Like, I don't care if I'm sucking extra air out of the house. I'd prefer the fire alarm not to go off when I'm searing a steak. You know, there's certain times. It's not like I set the fire alarm off cooking cookies or roasting something in the oven. You know, it's when I'm like trying to get a real professional looking sear on something. That's the one. Because as a chef, I like it hot. I like it hot. Anyways, that's all I got. You boys ready to get...
Hickory likes it hot and short.
That's right. And stubby.
Sounds like my wife.
Yeah. Unless we're talking about toes. They need to be, like, nice. Anyways.
Nice big old toes.
Give me a little hobbit toes.
Little sausage toes.
Is that just because of your toes? Dude, that makes you...
No.
Mine are beautiful. I get like a pedicure every 6 weeks.
You do. Hickory takes very good care of his feet.
It's to be honest, it's much easier to pay somebody to trim and paint my nails every 6 weeks than it is to like bother giving a shit. So like if they take care of it, they file them down, they scrub the calluses with like a cheese grater. It's great, you know. It's
wonderful.
And there's a massaging chair that I always walk out of there with black and blues on my lower back. Dude, that's totally worth the $40. And that includes the tip because we go to like this really great place in Rutland. It's all Chinese and it's phenomenal. They do
Yeah.
way
Get a
better
little
than.
Chinese back rub while you're there.
I don't want to sound like a supremacist or anything, but they are way better than the white girls on the on the foot jobs, as my wife likes to call them. The the petties. I don't know about a mani. I haven't gotten one of those. I could take the time to clip my own fingernails. I can't be bothered with my feet. I'd much rather somebody else just take care of it for me. Anyways, without further ado, we're gonna get into the regular show. You boys ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and then other side. Yeah, and then Collen like up. And then hold on. Oh, you gotta hold it. Okay, there. Sorry, I just wanted to get a screenshot, you know.
Yeah. I don't look completely crazy with that. I don't know what it's gonna take.
No, that was great. I just gotta pull up the paint so I can paste it in there. And save that.
We gotta get you a real program.
I know. I've been thinking about it. I'm sorry. But it looks like this, so that's great.
There we go.
Actually, yeah, we did a phenomenal job, guys. Thank you. So, without further ado, we're gonna get into the first topic of tonight, which I thought Collen was gonna mildly possibly spoil in the early part, but apparently he hadn't seen it yet. So, here we go. First topic of the evening. How the drunk is this news? From sensitivity to cultural appropriation, Suicide 6 revealed its new name. Yes, this is today, actually. Let me pull that down. Ready? Our new name is Saskadina 6. The name has changed. The mountain you love hasn't. Explore our new name. They got a whole
What
video
the
here.
fuck am I looking? There you go.
Since
You're
1936,
So the issue is I don't know if we're going to get copyright claimed on playing this, but I really want to watch it.
pure joy has been carved into these slopes. Proudly standing as one of the first ski areas in North America.
Yeah, but yeah, so that video is available if you guys.
I will watch this video. I love the idea of them starting the video being like, here at Saskadina 6. So I love how they seamlessly incorporated a clearly, I'm assuming that is an Algonquin word.
So let's
Abenaki.
Okay, it is Abenaki.
in the Abenaki language, Saskadina means quote standing mountain. It was chosen by the resort team to honor the original inhabitants of the land and the mountain's multi-generational legacy of values of community inclusion, adventure, discovery, and fun. The name sends a powerful message of connection.
So they took an Abenaki word and they put it together with a white man's word. So we could really just meld the way that we honored the timeless native tradition of cutting every fucking tree down on the side of a mountain. And to ski on it. Of course, that's very Native American, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
They love that. The Abenaki people of Pomfret used to say, cut every tree down on that mountain and mow it all summer so people can ski in the winter. It's a native tradition.
The 6 of our names comes from the very beginning in 1936 when Wallace Bunny Bertram picked the hill labeled number 6 on a local map that highlighted potential mountains that could be the location of his rope tow served ski area. Saskadina. It's their new logo. New logo positions Saskadina 6 in the present while also honoring the 9-decade heritage. The historic 6 red ball, first introduced in the 1960s, retains a visual connection from the past and pairs with a contemporary typeface that curves that speak to the friendliness and playfulness of the resort. The color palette.
Oh, it's doing that. I'm seeing that. It's definitely playing with the playfulness. It's doing that loud and clear.
The color palette in the shades of yellow, red, and blue draws its inspiration from the Vermont landscape, grounding S6 in its natural surroundings. GW, as a arts guy in college, Is that a paragraph you would have written if you came up with this awful logo?
I would have tried to bullshit it a little more.
Like there was a little too stripped down. You could have fluffed it up a little more.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you
GW
know, you
is the
gotta
great fluffer.
understand when you think of Vermont. When you think of Vermont, there's one color that comes to mind, or maybe three, which is red,
green,
yellow, and white. If
and
you
blue.
put those colors together, then what is it? Blue and yellow makes green.
Yeah.
Right? That would have made more sense. You know, anything would have made more sense.
I'm glad they didn't use that red, which is, by the way, like more of a salmon pink.
Yeah, it's a very like.
Yeah, it's like a mauve kind of color. But what exactly is Vermont about the color red and yellow?
Autumn.
Oh, maybe.
You know, the time when you're skiing.
Good.
Yeah, I don't know. Say, as a place-based people, the Nguyen Abenaki. Sorry if I pronounced that. I'm pretty insensitive, dude. Tribe appreciates the community opportunity to work with the Woodstock Resort team to rename this place and recognize this historic context as part of the land. This standing mountain has been used by thousands of Abenaki ancestors for over 11,000 years, and hopefully many more in the future. By acknowledging the original language of this place, the name Saskadina 6 will honor the ancient legacy of the Abenaki alongside that of the generations who loved it over the past 90 years and into the future. This is more than renaming this place. This is recognizing the original stewardship of this land, providing cultural education to those who visit this standing mountain. I truly value this partnership that connects our past, present, and future stewardship in protecting this special place. Chief Don Stevens.
How much was he paid for that?
I don't know, but it makes
Wait, hold
me
on.
think.
It's Don Stevens. That's the Let me see.
Chief Don Stevens.
Yeah, New England band. Yeah, I know these
band.
guys. The Kulukus Abenaki. So these guys are up in the Derby Kingdom, up there, and they've done some things right for the Native movement. They helped the tribe get recognized as, I think they're not federally recognized. Because it goes back to Ethan Allen, and Ethan Allen lied to the feds, and they asked him if there are natives here, and he said no, they're not, and there were, and so that pissed him off. So the feds said we'll never look at the Abenaki. They're small tribe, small band. There's the 5 band of the Abenaki, and they're the largest, most well-known band in Vermont. They do Three Sister, gardens and different things. And as someone who has a profound respect for the Abenaki people, I've spent my whole life, studying the culture of what's left of it. To me, what Suicide 6 was the perfect example of what it was. That was Native American land. And we cut all the trees down, and we plowed it out, and we put rope tows in it, and we sold people skis and hats and gloves and poles. And a guy looked at it and said, if you went down that's suicide. And then we started skiing. But skiing is, to say skiing is a white man's sport is an understatement. Skiing is almost white with impunity to a certain level. And it has never been approachable to people, ethnic people and things like that. I'm not saying that there aren't, and it has grown. But when you look at skiing, opposed to snowboarding, probably helped more with the subculture.
Just think about the sheer amount of fucking privilege you need to be like, hey, it sucks outside. I'm going to voluntarily go up to the top of that hill, and then I'm going to ride shit down where I could possibly injure myself or kill myself on the way down. Right. The sheer amount of privilege in order for a person to decide that skiing or snowboarding is a good idea is overwhelming. Even to a dude as pasty as I'm like, I can't afford the medical bills if I fuck myself up. Like, I just don't go. Not because I don't trust me, because I don't trust all the fucking other idiots that are going to be bombing down that hill.
The coked out, drunk.
I agree that skiing is like the epitome of whiteness.
And so if you take something, and it's like I have friends, they're black, and different ethnicities that would, like, if they go skiing, they'd be like, I'm the only person of color in this place right now. You know what I mean? And you got all these people, and so, and then you have even the like almost classism of skiing versus snowboarding, and Mad River Glen still doesn't allow snowboarders.
Yep.
And there are places that are like exclusively for skiing, only a couple left in the country, but there's just that sort of ritzy ass attitude in certain sectors of it that it's just odd to me. It's like you're going to pair Native American culture with something that's like incredibly white. You know what I mean? And like to me, it would almost made more sense if you just called it Bunny, like Bunny Bertram's and the Bunny Hill. If you just called it something going back to Bunny Bertram, going back to the legacy of skiing and focusing on skiing. Don't try to say, oh, we had a word suicide, which we think is a bad word. It's a word we should use more regularly and more common so people can use it more freely to identify that they're suffering. But no, we're not going to use that word. And then what we'll do is we'll use a 9-letter Native American word that nobody knows anything about, and we'll pair it with the number 6. And then, now we've saved the problems, because we had the Kooikoo Band of Northern Vermont, who had nothing to do here, by the way. They were not our local band. But you had the Kooikoo now done this. And what way are we honoring Native heritage? There's a thing, the 7, law 7 generation. There's nothing Native culture about snowboarding or skiing. It's like it's insane. It's like if this was a hunting preserve or something like that was like going back to indigenous ways of like hunting and fishing off the land, or like something like that, that would make sense to me. But there's no rekindling Native American culture from just naming a mountain something that honestly means standing mountain, Saul Mountain. So what'd you have? You had a guy over in Dartmouth look up a bunch of Native American words and assign it to it. The truth be told is that mountain had a native name. It had some type of association with that territory. And it's not just an arbitrary native word. You know what I mean?
No, it would have been the name of the mountain.
Yeah, so it's like with Ottaquiche. Ottaquiche means the mouth of the canyon that goes to the river. And it's specifically talks to Quechee Gorge area and all of that. There's certain words, that we have that we use that mean things around us in Abenaki. There's only 450 people who speak Abenaki in the state, I think, Western Abenaki, and or Abenaki as it's correctly pronounced. But so I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this one.
Well, I think the big thing is that they're trying to go for the alliteration that Suicide 6 had.
Yep. To me, it seems like a bunch of fucking rich, ultra-liberal white dudes from New York City that run the Rockefeller establishment saying, hey, we need to do something. This is going to be an issue in the next 5 years with how shit's going. We need to get out ahead of this. We need to change the name. And we need to do it in the fucking wokest way possible. We need to fake virtue signal that we give a fuck about the people who used to have this place, but manage to keep it a place for rich, uppity fucking white people. And
I need another martini.
Poof, here we go. Welcome to Saskadena 6.
Like it's almost to me like they called it like MLK 6. You know what I mean? Or like they just took like whatever like zing word that they could try to find. Like, well, let's think about it. Maybe we call it Black Lives Matter 6. Like maybe we call it it's like whatever thing that they felt like they could do that was culturally appropriate. Because the thing is to me, to call a native land a ski resort that of course was taken and from displacement and everything, and call it by a native name is almost to me like a rub in the nose in the fact that it wasn't a native name. We have native names all around us: Chattagee, Ottaquiche. Different words are around us that are native, and Abenaki. That's not one of them, and that wasn't something that it was called. You know what I mean? The Hudson River was originally called the Kawakeku. So it's like if you wanted to go back and say, this is why we're calling it. It's the Abenaki word for standing mountain. A Native American today, who's probably barely a quarter Native American, you know what I mean, has also, because there's a lot of bureaucracy with their tribe up there, of being like, yeah, that's it. There was a documentary. You can't write this shit. One of the guys they're interviewing, and he's going into the woods to show how the Abenaki way was, right? And he goes, "This is everything. This is the grocery store. This is the pharmacy. This is your store. This is everything." And then you hear, psst, and he unscrews a bottle of Coca-Cola. He starts drinking a Coca-Cola in the woods.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting there, like thinking, like, this is like them going out to film showing culture, and we're drinking Coca-Cola. It's become so watered down in America, so diluted, so not about the virtues. And if someone wants to embrace what we feel in the Native American culture, is that it's not about blood, it's not about your ethnicity or anything like that. It's about your spiritual belief. And if you believe in the Native principle way, then that's how you believe. So to say something and name something without actually demonstrating any of the actual belief system behind it is really crazy to me.
I still say that they should have called it Manic 6. Give something a little more hopeful.
Eugenic 6.
Yeah. Like I think the name change is stupid. People.
So GW, what's the name of it without looking at it on the paper? What's it called again?
Skaskanida.
Skaskawa, something like that.
Yeah.
My point is neither of us can remember it, and it was just on the screen in big bold letters for about 5 minutes.
Yeah. I remember the logo that looked like dog shit. And you know how much that dude probably got paid to make that logo? Too much money.
I would absolutely agree. I love that they saying it. We were the first to use a white flag with a red circle.
Japan?
You sure about that? I'm pretty sure that's other people have used that. Other places in the world have used that for potentially thousands of years. I would check the I might check the logic on that one, there, boys.
And it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Like, things that don't need to be changed are being changed, and for what reason? For PR.
To appease people. Skip Morrow in the comments said, "My cousin's best buddy died at Snowshoe, 2015." He's talking about, I was thinking Snow Shed. 2015, he was 20-year-old ski patrol, went down for the last time of the season. It was his last time. Sorry to hear that, brother. Sorry for you and your cousin's loss. That is a danger. That's mostly the reason I stopped snowboarding. Was it's a very, very dangerous activity with a bunch of people who don't know what they're doing, and you just kind of, I hate to say it, but at times with skiing, you're just trusting your life, knowing that other people know how to do it. It's like driving, except 50,000 people on the same fucking.
It's like driving at like 100 miles an hour on the highway. It's like driving at like 100 down 95, just weaving through traffic, hoping you don't kill somebody.
And everybody else is doing it too. You're not the only guy going 100. Like, there's people going 120, but also people going 45. So it's really like.
Just to close on this, I just have one more thought. I just would like to clarify. What do you think that previously called Suicide 6 is more of a celebration of? Capitalism and Lawrence Rockefeller, or Native American culture?
I'd go with the former.
Yeah.
Go with the former.
Yeah,
seems like it might be a little bit more of a celebration of capitalism than living in peace and harmony with the land. I love snowboarding, don't get me wrong, but there is a part of me that, from an environmental standpoint, Killington uses 10 million gallons of fresh drinking water a day to make snow. That is 1/10 of the amount of water New York City uses a day to make snow for people to go ski and snowboard down. I love it. I find it as amusing as the next guy. But there comes a point in life where you have to think, what are we doing? I mean, what are we fucking doing? I mean, to a point where it's like, I went skiing, okay, less than 50 days ago.
Yeah, it was a wicked late year this year.
I was skiing less than 2 months ago. And it's July.
Did they hit June?
Yeah, they did.
Which is
wasn't it like June 7th the last day?
Yeah, it was like the end of the first week in June. I think it was June 7th or 11th, somewhere in there. And the last day I went was May 30th.
Well, if they really cared, they would have made it to Juneteenth. Anyways, let's move right into the next topic. We got a bunch of them tonight. We hung a while on that. That was the one worth hanging on. The others will be a little more fast and furious. Here we go. Dad hit with fine for what? Yeah, we got a story out of the UK that G-Dub sent. It's from the Mirror. Dad hit with €100 fine after visiting the same McDonald's twice in one day. He visited the restaurant to grab an early morning coffee before work and returned to collect Happy Meal for his son in the evening, but was left stunned when he got a fine. A dad slapped with a €100 fine after visiting the same McDonald's twice in a day. Spencer Barclay, awesome last name and first name, sir. 52 visited the restaurant to grab blah, blah, blah. We read that. Spencer from Benwell, Newcastle, says that after grabbing coffee from the restaurant, Gateshead Metro Retail Park, he went on to work at the nearby Metropolitan House, where he left his car all day in their free car park. He went back to the same McDonald's at 5 p.m. for his son's meal, but he was sent a parking fine from UKBC days later, which said he had been parked at the restaurant for 8 hours and 43 minutes. So I assume he parked in the same spot, huh?
He must have.
He must have, right? Or, like, the guy on the camera just was, like, the guy he screwed over back in high school. And he was like, oh, I got this guy. I got this one. He's silly bastard parking near the same spot. I can crop that down. Spencer, who works as a software consultant, told the Chronicle Live, it's absolutely disgusting. It's just blatantly designed to try and get money out of people. It's extortion. This can clearly happen to anybody. I think they got a camera that photographs you, but the camera is a snapshot in time. It photographs you coming in and leaving, and that's fine. But what if you visit twice? If you visit McDonald's twice in one day, you can get a €100 fine. That can't be right. How many other people have been unfairly treated for going for a Happy Meal? And he doesn't look happy at all. And for a second, I was like, "Oh, dude, he got in the passenger seat to snap this photo." No, this is. I love
that. So he could get the McDonald's in the background.
That was my first thought, as like a silly American like I am, was like, dude, he hopped over to the passenger seat to get this photo. No, that's the driver's seat in England. Hickory, you fucking idiot. But yeah, funny. Not with the headline. I expected it to be a little more salacious, but maybe not a bad idea.
See, I thought when I originally saw the headline, I thought he got the fine for going to McDonald's twice in one day.
That's what it seemed like, and I was like,
the bigger question I have is how many times and an appropriate amount of times to visit a McDonald's in one day. I mean, as from a McDonald's standpoint, it's great that you have a reoccurring customer. From a customer standpoint, should you really be going to McDonald's for 2 out of the 3 meals a day? I mean,
I don't even like going to the same store twice in one day.
Oh no,
like,
dude!
If you forget something,
I think about that all the time, and yeah, fuck it, I'll say it on Facebook and YouTube. When somebody comes into the store that I work at, and we don't have what they have, but it's coming on later in the day, and they're like, "Oh, I'll come back for that." All I can think is like, what a fucking loser. Like, this person has nothing better to do with their time. Like if I go someplace and they don't have what I want, I'm like, oh, okay, that sucks. I'll fucking get it next time. I'll buy something else in place, especially if it's food. Like, it's not like I went to Home Depot last week and I was going to get a garden cart. And I had looked it up online, and it said they had plenty, but apparently I had selected my home store as West Leb instead of Rutland, because we live about halfway between the two, so we kind of split our, sometimes we go to West Leb, sometimes we go to Rutland. It depends on where we want to go, what errands we're running. So on HomeDepot.com, I had my account set to Westlab and not realizing it. I looked it up and I made sure that the cart was in stock. And then we went to Rutland and I went to look for it and couldn't find it. And was bummed out that they didn't have anything even remotely close to what I was looking for. And then looked it up and was like, oh shit, it's in Westlab. I forgot where I was going with storage, Dubs.
Something about going to the same spot in one day.
Oh, yeah. So the point being, if I showed up to buy this cart and they were like, Hickory, they're on a truck in the back, we're unloading them now, we'll be able to get you one in about an hour. There's not a single fucking chance I'm going back to that store that day. Like not a single not a single thing you could be like, it'd have to be drugs. Like the only way I'm swinging back to the store to pick up something is if my dealer hadn't picked up yet. There's no way like I'm swinging back to the Home Depot an hour later to pick up a cart they haven't unloaded. There's no way I'm swinging back 2 hours later to pick up a chunk of salmon from a store because their delivery hasn't shown up yet. I'm going to buy something else and I'm going to move on. Or in my case with the garden cart, I'm like, fuck it, I'll pick it up next week when I go to Leb. Like,
So, fucked up story happened to me today. Story time!
Yeah, story time.
So, I had to go pick up some prescriptions at my local pharmacy, where I've been having issues with this pharmacy fucking forever. Ever since they bought out my old pharmacy. Fucking sucks. Drives me nuts. So, I go online, I call them, place my order for the drugs that I need, and then I had to talk to somebody, and they're like, okay, it'll be an hour. All right. Piss around the house for a little while, and go to the store, and they're like, oh, yeah, we don't have a prescription for this. I was like, bullshit, you don't. And they're like, oh, well, we can fill it now. Like, okay. Thinking, 10 minutes, fart around the store, like 45 minutes to an hour. Like, so I have to fucking come back. And it's not like something where I can just be like, oh, I'll just pick it up tomorrow. I'm fine. No, fucking I had to wait for it. I did some errands and had to go back, and I still had to wait for it. Fucking pharmacies.
Yep, as I don't change my statement. Drugs. The only thing I will swing back for. There's nothing else that I'm like taking the time out of my day that it's so important to me for me to go visit the same place twice.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move right into the next one. There we go. Joe Biden compared Hispanics to what? G-Dubs, you sent this clip. Absolutely phenomenal memeage right here. I'll pull this up. Here we go. It's TikTok, so it's a little weird format, but...
With the understanding that the diversity of this community, as distinct as the Bogotas of the Bronx, as beautiful as the blossoms of Miami, and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio, is your strength.
Bogotas? Is that how that's pronounced down there, Colin? Pretty sure she meant bodegas, right?
I have no. Is that I am?
Oh, that's what I inferred. But I don't know. Here, let's do a replay.
That's funny than saying tacos.
With the understanding that the diversity of this community, as distinct as the Bogotas of the Bronx.
That's what the Bronx are famous, right? Is bodegas?
Yeah, they say it just like that, Bogotas.
Oh, is that how it is pronounced?
No, it's pronounced bodega.
Bodega. Okay, that's what I thought. But then again, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just a white dude from Vermont.
No, it's bodega. I mean, it's actually deli. Deli is short for delicatessen.
Yep.
And people don't use that term anymore. And bodega. And I don't know what language bodega. It might be Yiddish. I don't know.
Bogadas.
I thought it was
that was
Spanish.
I'm not sure. Anyway, so
As
I'm
beautiful
gonna
as
do
the
some
blossoms
fact-checking.
of Miami, and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio.
yes. As
Who
diverse
in
as the
their
breakfast
right
tacos.
mind? Who in their right mind was writing this speech and goes, and unique as San Antonio breakfast tacos? At least do breakfast burrito.
Yeah.
Yeah, so bodega is derived from the Spanish word for storeroom or wine cellar.
Yeah, Bogadas. That's how she pronounced that one. Bogadas. Which I thought like I was the guy that was like, it's bodega, right? Like that's how I've heard everybody pronounce it my entire fucking life.
Yeah.
People that have grown up down in New York pronounce it bodega. I'm like, but maybe I'm the ignorant one, and it's the culturally appropriate way is to pronounce
That's
it Bogadas.
when you're the first woman and you say a word as wrong as she just said it, you kind of almost reevaluate if you're saying it correctly. You're like, what is it? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it the difference between like finance and fiance, or like
Yeah, and I'm like, she's a doctor. Like I'm just I'm just a lowly guy who dropped out of college. Who am I to say? No, it's bodegas.
Little high, little low.
I think she was trying to sound more authentic when she was saying it.
Because she thinks that New York City bodegas are run by Hispanics. Like, is that the?
Well, they are. Well, that and Indians in Pakistan.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure they're run by a culturally diverse segment. I don't know.
Yeah, there's every the delis are owned by every
ethnicity
out there, except for maybe white.
Yeah, like white. Yeah, it's. I mean, the white people that run delis in New York are Italian.
Yeah.
Like
Italian, Asian, Middle Eastern, a lot of Middle Eastern, a lot of Asian, Korean, Italian.
A lot of good places
Jewish.
to get a euro. I'm sure there's a couple Greek
Russian.
ones. Yep.
There's everything, but the one thing that generally is it's like you'll see, like if it's a Russian owner, there'll be more Russians, or if it's whatever, they'll employ maybe more of said whatever friends and family kind of thing. But I always joke around with bodegas though. It's like you say half the shit in Spanish and half the shit you're saying in English. You'd be like, "Hola, hermano, ¿cómo está? Hey, todo bien? All right, let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese."
Okay, let's move right into the next one. You gentlemen are ready. Tiara Mack twerks for the votes. I don't know if you guys saw this story. One of those.
I saw it.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's on my Dem Rhode Island Senator Tiara Mack ripped her video of herself twerking. She's twerking overtime for your votes. A Rhode Island state senator is ridiculed for posting a campaign video for her twerking upside down in a barely there bikini. Democrat Tiara Mack, 28, used official district TikTok page on the 4th of July to post a saucy clip to her shaking her booty while at a headstand on a beach. Let's just go down. Colin, had you seen this?
No.
Okay, here's the still image. This is a state senator from Rhode Island.
He's got my vote.
Upside down, twerking on this beach, to which she gets up and looks at the camera much like this and says, "Vote for Mac."
Hey,
this is where we're at, man.
That's creative.
Yeah, I'm down. I'd vote too. Like that's my.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest. I mean, you can write legislation till you're blue in the face, but if you can't twerk your ass, are you really serving this country?
I want to see Mitch McConnell do that.
Amen to that, brother.
I would pay $1,000 to watch Mitch McConnell get on his head like that and try to put his ass in the sand.
Me too.
Better yet,
Right.
I would pay $1,000 to just see Mitch McConnell twerk. Doesn't have to be on his head, but like get some like good booty slapping music and have him.
It's interesting because it's like you gotta imagine like a tortoise on its hind legs, like twerking. You know, yeah. And there's the head moving as well.
Piece of lettuce falling out of his mouth. I don't do impressions, but I think I got to mean Mitch McConnell.
I like that. I think that was good.
I'll
Have
bust it out.
we not taken any comments this evening, or are we just?
We've only gotten one, and about Skid Marrow's cousin's best buddy dying, which was a complete bummer.
Yeah, real good, feel good piece there.
Yeah, I mean, Skid Marrow, thank you for commenting. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it as well.
I think we should list politicians we'd like to see twerk.
Definitely Ted Cruz. You know Ted Cruz is going to set it up like a showgirl, like saying some stupid shit like, y'all got to get around and get ready to see me twerk it down. Here we go.
I got one you might appreciate. Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, there we're talking.
Yeah. I mean, is it an obvious choice that I just go with my hall pass and say I would love to see AOC twerk right in front of me? Is that an obvious?
No, that's fair.
I could see that she probably actually has, or tried.
I want to see. Well, we're talking about controversial senators. Boebert. She's not bad looking. With a AR over her shoulder, maybe.
Who's this? Elizabeth Warren?
No, Boebert. Laura Boebert from Colorado. She's cute, dude. A cute little brunette. Like, you know, regardless of what you think of her and all the weird shit that's gone on in her past, yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to watching that.
I think that's how people get votes in 2024.
Yeah, that's gonna it's gonna be that point where it's just like everybody, all the politicians are just social media celebrities. I mean, we're halfway there.
We have all of the
younger politicians are social media celebrities. Like all the new breed, like from when AOC hit it.
Right.
That was like the point where there was like this weird amalgamation where people were like, well, she became a politician and her Instagram following went fucking crazy, and now she's doing like Instagram live streams that are getting all these views for a whole new generation to be like, well, I don't really have to do all that much work if I become a politician and a social media influencer. Like
you don't have to do a lot of work if you do either of those jobs individually, let alone together.
But you put them together, and now you've got. Not only do you have guaranteed government income and great benefits, you tack that on top of, you know, you monetize your fucking channels.
But you know,
and then you sell merch.
Sure. But you know, the truth be told is these guys have been doing this for a long time. You know, Clinton made a fortune in speeches.
Oh yeah, all of them make a ton of money on speeches and selling books.
Selling books and appearances, and they had a thing one time. Hillary showed up to a thing. It was a banking conference or something, and they had her talk. And they said how much they paid her to talk at this banking conference. And she made like $450,000 or something. I can't remember the exact numbers. But she said like 11 words. And so then they did this thing, and she was like, "It's so great to be here. Thank you so much for coming." You know, and they were like, that was $450,000, and so they broke it down to how much, and she was paid like $80,000 a word or something like that. You know, like
she was making more than Tom Hardy made as Bane, because that got broken down the same way, right? Like people broke it down to like the amount of money he made per word, because Bane was like a mostly voiceless. You know, he said like a few phrases in the movie, but it was very like, Bane's not about a voice. You know what I mean? It's about the power of the being.
Sure.
And he didn't say many. I remember they broke that down. Actually,
I had a friend who just auditioned for Yale drama school, and they made him wear a mask. And I said, you know how difficult it is to act with a mask on. Yet you look at how Tom Hardy had very little dialogue and very little use of his face with the mask, but he still did so much with the eyes. You know, of just you know, he was great.
I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's someone who's running for Senate in Vermont that's trying to do like TikToks and like YouTube or Facebook videos, and his team needs to step their game up. He took a video at the Rutland gun show, and it was just him standing there, like not doing anything, no catchy music. I want your votes this November. It's like, dude, first off, you're like 60. Secondly, keep my fucking attention span.
Yeah.
Like, it was so awful.
So I'm saying we need to run, G-dubs. I've been looking at the current primaries, and I was like, you know, if I put out my campaign and like synced it up real well, I might actually have a shot at this. Because I was like, the best part about my campaign was I would run on buzzwords from both sides of the aisle. So it would be like Kyle Hickory, or Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming, is for common sense gun control. And then in the small point, it would say, by common sense gun control, he means repeal the NFA and the ATF. Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming is for defunding the police. By the police, he means the FBI and the CIA. That would be like my entire Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming believes in bodily autonomy for all women and all men, meaning that you can't forcibly vaccinate anybody or prevent them from getting an abortion. You know, just play both sides and see how we do. Because I keep hearing a bunch of like, I helped vote in the strictest gun control rules in Vermont, and I will do the same in Congress, is what I hear in like the campaign ads. And I'm just like, I would love an ad from me that was like, Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming. He will campaign for common sense gun control. And by common sense gun control, we mean that every transgender person should be allowed to own a fully automatic rifle. We mean that no longer should you be oppressed by the government to own a suppressor, which will only help you protect you and your loved ones' ears when you go out to the range. Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming will make sure that every man, woman, and child that is above 21 will be allowed to possess whatever fucking weapon they want, because that's what's in line with the U.S. Constitution as written. And yeah, that would be like, this is Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming's talk on common sense gun control. Because
this ad brought to you in part by Ruger.
Yeah, Ruger, New Hampshire. If you want to sponsor the show, Ruger, we're totally in. I will. I'll put your rifle. I'll put your rifle on the wall behind me. I mean, I own it already. I'll hang it up there, but I'm not going to do it unless I have some money, because the things up on the wall I support already. Beer, and sorry, we're drinking, and beef, and turkeys, and card tricks. That's what the billboards is.
I will wear a branded T-shirt
Absolutely.
every week. Same one. Won't wash it.
I will put one on over this. Maybe a tank top. That'd be cool. I'd wear. Ruger wanted to sponsor the show. For that matter, if anybody wanted to sponsor the show, that wasn't like a. I mean, there's some lines. There's some lines I won't cross, but for the most part, I'm a slut. You give me money, I'll do what you want me to do.
Give me money in a sweatshirt.
That's right.
I'll wear
money
it.
and a sweatshirt.
Just saying.
Here we go. We're gonna do the list of the last one of the regular show. Nuclear preparedness PSA. This is the best timeline. Collen, did you see this? This was a New York City thing that put out a nuclear threat preparedness PSA. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay, so let's get into this. Since you haven't, we'll give her a go here.
So there's been a nuclear attack. Don't ask me how or why, just know that the big one has hit, okay? So what do we do?
First off, Colin, have they done a decent job at portraying New York so far?
Yeah, it looks great. It looks just like New York City if it was in Call of Duty and only set in Baghdad.
Fair enough.
There are 3 important steps that I want you to remember. Step 1, get inside fast. You, your friends, your family, get inside. And no, staying in the car is not an option. You need...
Sorry?
I'm just going to say, get inside. Okay, so there's a nuclear explosion. You know what I was going to do? Go dancing in the street, you know?
Do a little moonwalk down in Central Park. That's what
I figured I might get the barbecue out and maybe we do some grilling as there's a fucking nuclear apocalypse unfolding around us. Okay, get inside. Okay, guys, just want to take this bit by bit. So we don't
yeah, that's fair. I'll be sure to include more pauses.
Need to get into a building and move away from the windows. Step 2, stay inside. Shut all doors and windows.
Wait a second. Hold on. So step 1 was to move away from the windows, but step 2 is shut the doors and windows. First off, shutting the door is a normal part of going inside, correct? Maybe I view that because I live in Vermont and it's either cold or there's a shitload of bugs out.
Right.
Like those are 2 essential states of being, other than that limited area in spring and fall where you could leave a door open.
No, this is
there's either a shitload of bugs or a shitload of cold.
Really important to know. I mean, you know, you have a nuclear house, you go inside and you shut the door when you go in. Okay.
How are you going to shut the windows when they're blown out from a nuclear explosion?
How is being inside helping you when radiation is rampant and being inside is not going to do anything? It's not going to change anything. You can.
This is a very good point.
Did the person who started this list look at photos from Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
Well, that's the crazy part about this, is that so it was Fat Man and Little Man,
right? And Fat Boy,
sorry, were the names of the bombs dropped in World War II, and those were like, I think 50 or 50 kilotons, between the 2 of them. So now there is 50 megaton nukes available. I'm pretty sure we have some, Russia has some, probably China has them. So 1,000-fold of the gravity bombs that were dropped are now deployable by intercontinental ballistic missiles. So yeah, I'm just gonna say it depends on where you are, but and I should have brought it up. I didn't think about it. There's actually like a map simulator where you can like put different sized bomb hits on different places on the map, and it'll show you how far the spread is. But yeah, for the most part, if you're like in downtown Manhattan, you might as well just start getting naked, because there's nothing that's gonna save you if there's a nuke strike on the East Coast. It's just Anyways, let's continue. See what the next step is.
Have a basement? Head there. If you don't have one, get as far into the middle of the building as possible. If you were outside after the blast, get clean immediately.
Okay, so she's talking about avoiding the fallout, which is probably good if you live in, like, I don't know, Vermont, and New York City gets hit. I don't know. It seems like this is not something that, you know, it seems crazy to me that this is still the level of the PSA we're putting out, where it's not just like, hey, by the way, if it hits here, don't bother doing anything.
Yeah, don't do anything. Light up a cigarette, go outside, take a nice, good, long, slow look in that gorgeous burning orange light that is vaporizing.
Like, hey, have you never tried meth but really wanted to?
Yeah.
The second this hits, that is the prime opportunity.
Number
You're
two
gonna
should
take
be number two is take your dick out. You know,
Yep. Yeah, like you're gonna have your last few minutes with it. You might as well.
yeah.
You might as well enjoy as much of that time as you can. Go into the drug stash that you've stored up for the past few years. Get whatever you want out of there and take it because that's not going to be around for much longer.
Make some
just-
uppers and downers.
Yeah, just ride it out, man.
Speedball.
Because the worst thing that happens is you have a heart attack before you're vaporized. You know, like really.
What I just don't understand is, okay, so I'm assuming there's a couple other things. But if there's a nuclear blast, where are you going? Where are you living? And how are you being transported and everything like that? Like, you're going to stand in your house and take a shower. That's great. The world was just nuked. Like you said, if a bomb, Hiroshima is substantially bigger than Manhattan, and it was all completely level. If Manhattan had been hit, it's a similar thing. It would have been.
Yeah, and that's like 1,000 times less than what I mean, given we're talking about like the big stuff. As far as what we have right now is 1,000 times larger than that.
Right. What I've heard is that they wouldn't actually bomb major metropolises. I actually saw the Chinese had on a bomb site was actually Rutland. That was a document that had actually been recorded, and and they had targeted the Chinese had targeted Rutland in the Northeast because if you bomb the city, then people are just going to flee. But if you bomb the places people flee, then they're trapped, and you still have all their infrastructure.
And my thought was, so if you bomb New York, New York's fucked.
Yeah.
If they bomb the countryside outside of New York,
yeah,
all the food dies, and then New York's fucked. Like there's not really, you know what I mean?
No.
Like there's no safe
win.
space. Like it's one of those where it's just like
it's more likely to see them like try to hit here, where it would be like a place you could produce food, than it would be a place that would ultimately be rendered irrelevant during a nuclear fallout. Like no one's going to continue to live in New York. You know what I mean? So it's already doomed. Like you don't have to do anything to screw it up. You know what I mean?
Strategically, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's already so fragile that it's just like they lose power.
Why bother?
It's like, yeah, why bother? All you got to do is take water and power out.
You'd be better off bombing like farmland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways, let's continue.
Remove and bag all outer clothing to keep radioactive dust or ash away from your body. Step 3, stay tuned. Follow media for more information. Don't forget to sign up for Notify NYC for official alerts and updates.
Yeah, because that's definitely still going to be going.
Yeah. Because all the fucking cell towers are still going to be running.
Oh, totally. You know, everything, your water is still going to be fine. Your power is still going to be fine. Like, good Lord, guys.
And don't go outside until officials say it's safe.
Because they're still going to be around to tell you it's safe.
And by the way, the shelf life's about 30 years.
Yeah. So get all nice and bundled up inside your 500 square foot apartment. If you have that, because you're well-to-do.
What's
You've got this.
Yeah, that's not that's not confidence inspiring. You got this. You guys will be fine when this finally happens.
I missed the step where she says, after you take your clothes off and shower, bend over and kiss your ass goodbye.
Yep. Or fuck
that's
anything.
Kind of scary, though, isn't it? Like, why would they go that extreme with something like a nuclear fucking bomb? Like, if a nuclear bomb hit New York, put it this way: if Indian Point, which was New York City's closest nuclear power plant, okay, were to fail, and Indian Point's like I think 35 miles north of the city, the radioactive fallout of Indian Point failing would make Manhattan uninhabitable. The Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, all uninhabitable. All of that would be uninhabitable from the fallout of a nuclear power plant melting down. A fucking nuclear bomb going off in New York City, we're all dead. Everyone's dead. There's no take your clothes off, take a shower. Take a shower?
Yeah.
Turn your television on? A nuclear bomb went off. And the next thing I'm going to do is take a shower and turn the TV on.
And that pretty
What?
much sums up where we are. Anyways, that's all I got. Let's get into the after show. There is a show this Saturday at the Woolen Comedy Club.
Yes.
Matt Vita will be up hosting New York City. Next, the following Saturday, 23rd, Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming will be at the Woolen Comedy Club. Hickory hosts is going on. GW Foley will be there as long as Ryan Kenyon. I'm still waiting to hear the names of the beautiful burlesque dancers that will be joining us. And there might be yet another person or two added to that docket, but we'll keep you posted. Anyways, that's all I got on this one. Please follow GW Foley at Foley Kills and at GW Foley. Follow at Collen Doyle, at Collen D, and at Woolen Comedy Club for your comedy club updates. See what's going on. There's a show every Saturday at 8. We get it rocking and rolling down there. And you boys have anything you want to say before we get into the after show?
I love you, Mom.
I love you too, Dolores. And much the same way that GW loves you. It's not weird or anything, I promise.
She didn't take it that way.
Okay, good. But anyways, that's all I got. This has been season 3, episode 11 of the Drunken Under Quarantine Show. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you guys in the next one. If you want to stay tuned, we'll see you over on the Rumbles. We'll be in the after show. Remember, stay drunk, stay underwhelming. Most importantly, in these trying times, stay safe. Until next time, we'll see you on that after show.
Are you saying you want to show me your tits? This is a weird show.